Hello, iPrevent friends and family. This is Angelica, your friendly neighborhood peer prevention specialist. May is Mental Health Month. We are going to go into an in-depth explanation of several different mental health disorders. But first, we want to point out the importance of keeping up with your mental health. Our mental state can affect our physical well-being also. Depression, bipolar disorder, and other illnesses can manifest themselves all throughout our bodies. There are four main categories in mental health diagnosis. The first is mood disorders, such as depression and bipolar disorder. According to the National Institute of Health, mood is defined as a pervasive and sustained feeling tone that is endured internally and which impacts nearly all aspects of a person's behavior in the external world. Mood disorders are described by marked disruptions in emotions, severe lows called depression or highs called hypothermia or mania. Next, we have anxiety disorders, such as generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, and various phobia-related disorders. From the National Institute of Health, generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, usually involves a persistent feeling of anxiety or dread, which can interfere with daily life. It is not the same as occasionally worrying about things or experiencing anxiety due to stressful life events. People living with GAD experience frequent anxiety for months, if not years. People with panic disorders have frequent and unexpected panic attacks. Panic attacks are sudden periods of intense fear, discomfort, or sense of losing control, even when there is no clear danger or trigger. Not everyone who experiences a panic attack will develop panic disorder. Social anxiety disorder is an intense, persistent fear of being watched and judged by others. For people with social anxiety disorder, the fear of social situations may feel so intense that it seems beyond their control. For some people, this fear may get in the way of going to work, attending school, or doing everyday things. A phobia is an intense fear or aversion to specific objects or situations. Although it can be realistic to be anxious in some circumstances, the fear people with phobias feel is out of proportion to the actual danger caused by the situation or object. We are going to cover personality disorders such as narcissistic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder. The following is an excerpt from Psychology Today article. For people with BPD, the major issue is a fear of abandonment and engulfment. Their emotions are variable and very intense. People with BPD can have suicidal thoughts and often self-harm. People with BPD outwardly exhibit feelings of abandonment, woundedness, and vulnerability. They often have an unstable sense of self and have disassociation tendencies. For people with narcissistic personality disorder, the person's major issue is feeding their ego through narcissistic supply. Their emotions may be shallow except for rage. People with NPD may have a pervasive sense of grandiosity, feeling that they are entitled to the best of everything, and they do not have to follow the rules as other people do. People with NPD can have a strong sense of superiority. They tend to exploit others as a result of having an exaggerated sense of importance. Finally, we will discuss psychotic mood disorders such as schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a serious mental illness that affects how a person thinks, feels, and behaves. People with schizophrenia may seem like they have lost touch with reality, which can be distressing for them and for their family and friends. It's important to recognize the symptoms of schizophrenia and seek help as early as possible. People with schizophrenia are usually diagnosed between the ages of 16 and 30 after the first episode of psychosis. Starting treatment as soon as possible following the first episode of psychosis is an important step towards recovery. However, research shows that gradual changes in thinking, mood, and social functioning often appear before the first episode of psychosis. Schizophrenia is rare in younger children. Schizophrenia symptoms can differ from person to person, but they generally fall into three main categories: psychotic, negative, and cognitive. Psychotic symptoms include changes in the way a person thinks, acts, and experiences the world. A person experiencing psychotic symptoms often has disruptive thoughts and perceptions, and they may have difficulty recognizing what is real and what is not. Psychotic symptoms include hallucinations, when a person sees, hears, smells, tastes, or feels things that are not actually there. Hearing voices is common for people with schizophrenia. People who hear voices may hear them for a long time before friends or families notice a problem. Delusions, when a person has strong beliefs that are not true and may seem irrational to others. For example, individuals experiencing delusions may believe that people on the radio and television are sending special messages that require a certain response. or they may believe that they are in danger or that others are trying to hurt them. Thought disorder. When a person has ways of thinking that are unusual or illogical, people with thought disorders may have trouble organizing their thoughts and speech. Sometimes a person will stop talking in the middle of a thought, jump from topic to topic, or make up words that have no meaning. Negative symptoms include loss of motivation, loss of interest or enjoyment in daily activities, withdrawal from social life, difficulty showing emotions, and difficulty functioning normally. Negative symptoms include having trouble planning and sticking with activities such as grocery shopping, having trouble anticipating and being motivated by pleasure in everyday life, talking in a dull voice and showing limited facial expression, avoiding social interaction or interacting in socially awkward ways, having very low energy and spending a lot of time in passive activities. In extreme cases, a person might stop moving or talking for a while, which is a rare condition called catatonia. These symptoms are sometimes mistaken for symptoms of depression or other mental illnesses. Cognitive symptoms include problems in attention, concentration, and memory. These symptoms can make it hard to follow a conversation, learn new things, or remember appointments. A person's level of cognitive functioning is one of the best predictors of their day-to-day functioning. Healthcare providers evaluate cognitive functioning using specific tests. Cognitive symptoms include having trouble processing information to make decisions, having trouble using information immediately after learning it, having trouble focusing or paying attention. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has recognized that having certain mental disorders, including depression and schizophrenia, can make people more likely to get severely ill from COVID-19. The clinics at Odyssey House, Louisiana offer COVID-19 vaccines as well as mental and behavioral health appointments. They are located at 1125 North Tonti Street and 2700 South Broad. Give us a call at 504-383-8559 for an appointment today. Thanks for listening along as we break down each category of mental disorders and hopefully breaking down the stigma too. Be sure to follow us across all social media platforms at iPrevent_OHL.